I watched Moonlight, and while I thought it was a good movie, a 3-star movie or whatever, it's fine. But I think that it's been way overhyped. I don't think it's nearly as good as everybody says. I mean, I've seen movies like it. I mean, not a black man discovering his homosexuality or whatever, a black boy. But I mean, I think that's the thing that sets it apart. That I guess is amazing to some people. Wow, this is new. But wow, black kid thinking he's gay. Wow. But I don't think that's a big wow. And I also, with the exception of Mahershala Ali in that very striking supporting role, I didn't think the acting was great. I like the third part of it, where it's the kid as an adult. I thought was interesting, probably the most interesting part of the movie. I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't blown away by it. I mean, for one thing, I thought it was going to be a strikingly well photographed movie because you see all the pictures and they're all strong blues and weird greens and pinks and stuff in it, and those are just single shots in the movie. It's not a movie that has a distinctive visual quality to it. In fact, it does something that I usually don't like in movies, which is it's mostly shot handheld. And also found I also watched this week. I watched a movie called The Fits, which is I thought a better movie than Moonlight in some ways. But it's about a young girl who's discovering her femininity. She's really a tomboy, but she tries to fit in with the other young black girls at her school. And but I noticed that there's a sort of an interesting theme that's going on in movies now with kids, because I noticed it in a movie called Little Men that I talked about a few weeks ago, which I loved. Mm-hmm. But I don't know why it is in these kids' movies where you have these kids that refuse to speak. Like, what's the motivation there? Like, is it because kids aren't really good? The kids aren't really great actors, so they're afraid to let them speak because they're afraid that they're going to show their acting is not up to snuff. So they just have them sort of behaving on screen. But
I think everybody's a victim. Everybody's a victim in Moonlight, so that's part of the problem because the whole movie's just a movie about victims. I think
right.
Everybody's it's illuminating the victim subculture that we have out there now, and I thought that was what it was more about than a fully formed portrait of these people. And it was just they did everything they could to say this guy's a victim, that guy's a victim, and
right.
That was the way I felt about it. And so
and the mother's a victim, and
right,
and even the drug dealers are victims, and so forth. So yeah, that's
exactly.
true. I don't know, but generally I just felt like it was kind of a cold sort of. I don't know. I felt it was sort of chilly in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Simply because I get sort of antsy watching people on screen that refuse to talk. Like, and this was a character that refused to talk throughout his entire life and throughout the entire movie.
Like that. I tell you what, I agree. Like that fucking Holly Hunter in the piano. That bugged the shit out of me. That's not a peep.
Can you just say something? What are you, mute? But.
By the way, I saw a movie, and this is a movie everybody else has seen, but I knew that it was a Todd McCarthy movie with Paul Giamatti, and it was about wrestling. And I watched Win-Win yesterday for the first time, but I not knowing anything really about it, and so it felt like such a pleasant kind of discovery. I mean, I love the movie, but that kid in there for the longest time, that kid in there is like, okay. I think it's just like kids don't, especially in communication with adults, a lot of times they just don't know what the hell to say. They don't have much to say.
So that's, I mean, that's it. It's just I don't know. It gets very frustrating.
I don't know what it is in terms of Moonlight, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, basically the character is like that throughout the entire periods of life that we see. We see him up to like 25 or something like that. I don't know.
The same could be said of Robert Duvall in Tender Mercies.
Well,
I mean, he's
but he speaks though. I mean, he is. I don't mind a taciturn sort of reluctant person or quiet person, but I don't know. You just like in Moonlight, there's scene after scene of like everybody talking to this kid at 10 years old, and at 17 years old, and then at 25, and him not saying anything. I mean, I guess that's an effect of being bullied or being afraid of the sexuality that you have or something like that, that he's completely shut down. I guess I understand that, but I don't know. It's not dramatically satisfying to sit there and watch somebody get asked a question.
Or to kind of